Hi, very good morning to one and all. And I am V. Dinesh Babu from the Department of CSC. So I welcome all the listeners of this video. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about math class library. So in Java programming language, there are many classes. Among all those classes, math is one of the class. As all we know, classes in Java programming language will start with a capital letter. So here in the math class also M will be capital. Right, before going to see about the math class, let us revise the things what we have uh, seen in the previous session. So in the previous session, we have seen about jump statements. So in Java, there are two types of jump statements, break and continue. So we have seen two examples, one on break and another on continue in the last session. So the people who don't understand what are jump statements, and what is break, what is the use of break statement, what is the use of continue statement, they can please see the previous session which was in the YouTube. The link was already sent to you, so please watch the previous session if you don't understand the topic regarding jump statements. So in today's session we concentrate on math class, and if we have time we will go for arrays in Java, right? So in last session we have done two examples, one on break statement and another on continue statement. So we know that when we use a break inside an iteration loop or inside anything, that break statement, if Java compiler encounters that break statement, immediately the control will come out of that particular block or loop. When Java compiler identifies the continue statement, it will skip the current iteration, right? So break will completely terminate the loop, continue will skip the current iteration of the loop. So that is the use of break and continue in Java programming language, right? So in today's class, let us see about math class in Java. So let us quickly move to the math class slide. Right, this is where we have stopped in the previous session. Now, before going to see about the math class, let us have a look at how the Java class library will be there. Uh, so here, once again, here there are several classes in Java library. One of the not several classes. These all are called packages. We call them as packages. These packages contains multiple number of classes, right? These packages contains multiple number of classes, and each and every class will contain multiple number of methods and some variables, right? So here the left one, which is in orange color, is are called as packages in Java programming language. One of the package name is applet. So this package is used to create applets in Java programming. So this topic will be covered in unit number 3 or unit number 4. What is an applet and how applets can be created in Java. So the topics will be covered in unit 3 or 4. And then we have one package called as lang package, which means language. It is an default package in Java programming language. Why we call this one as a default package? In the sense, so we import it or not, it is called as default package. We import it or not, it will be directly imported by the JVM. So there is no need to import this particular package into our program. And next one, UTIL package, which stands for utilities package, and IO, input output, and network package. So these are all the different packages, right? As I said earlier, packages contains classes, classes contains methods. Now our math class, what we are going to discuss today, math class. Math class is located in java.lang package, right? So because of it is a default package, we can directly use this math class. There is no need to import this particular package in the program. So I will explain what is importing a package and all these things and in the example, don't worry, right? So our math class is located in java.lang package, and these are the following are the different methods that particular math class contains, right? So in order to find the square root of a given number, we use the method called as sqrt. In order to find the sign value of the given number, we use sin. In order to find the cosine value, we use cos. In order to find the random value, we use the method called as random. So these methods cannot be used directly. We have to use the methods by using the dot notation. For example, if we want to find the square root of 2, then we have to give math dot sqrt, math dot sqrt of 2. So now it will find the square root of 2, right? Why we have to use the math dot in the sense sqrt method lies in this math class. So that's why we have to mention math dot sqrt, then the compiler will understand. So this sqrt is one of the method name which is located in math class, right? So this is how we can make use of this math class, right? Keep one thing in your mind: the left hand side what you are seeing which are in the orange color are called packages. Packages contains classes, and not only classes, packages can have interfaces also. So I will explain about interfaces in the future classes, don't worry. So packages contains both classes and interfaces, and they can also have abstract classes also, right? So in java.lang package, there are many classes. There are many classes, not only math class. There are many classes in under this Java lang package. There are many classes. Among all those classes, one of the class name is math class. One of the class name is math class. So under this math class, uh, it has multiple number of methods, right? Some of the names of methods are sqrt, which is used to find the square root of the given number, sine value of the given number, and cosine value of the given number, etc., right? So now let us have a close look at what are the different methods that this particular math class contains in the next slide, right? See now, the left hand side, these things will represent the methods of the math class, and this will represent the description of that particular method, right? So if we want to find the absolute value of a given number, then we can use the method called as abs. So in order to find the absolute value of a given number, we use the method called as abs method. I think you all know about the absolute value, right? Any value which will have the magnitude, but we don't concentrate on the signature, is called as absolute value. So not only seeing the method name and description, let us work with the methods parallelly in an example program. So that will be better, I think, in order to have a great understanding. That will be better working with parallel examples along with the method name and description. So I'm moving to the programming window here. So right in this programming window, I want to go for a new Java code. Here I want to save this one with M, because we are going to work with math class. That's why I have used this M. You can use a you can use any name here, right? Inside this one, for example, I have defined a value of A, where the value of A is -10, that is -10, and I have one more variable with the b, where the value of b is some 20. So these are the two values. So let us work on these two values with the math class, right? So initially during the starting point of the program, what we have to do is we have to use a keyword called as import, and we have to mention java dot lang dot star, right? Let us see hash include stdio dot h, right? What this particular statement means, so we are going to include a header file called as stdio dot h into our program. So this is the statement we write in C or C++. There some standard input and output, stdio means standard input and output. So standard input and output functions uh, are stored in this stdio.h header file. So in order to use all those standard input and output functions into our program, we are going to include this header file into our program. So when we write this particular statement in the C programming language, so the C compiler will bring this header file or will link this header file to our program. So after linking this header file, we can make use of this all the methods which lies in this stdio.h. Similar to this particular statement in Java also, we have to import packages. In C, we call them as header files, but in Java, we call them as packages. So in order to bring a package into our program in Java, we have to use the keyword called as import keyword. After using import keyword, we have to mention Java dot name of the package we want to import into our program. So the name of the package we want to import here is lang package, and inside lang package, as we said earlier, each and every package may contain multiple number of classes and interfaces. So if we want to include all the classes and interfaces of this lang package, we have to mention dot star. So dot star means it represents uh, all the packages and interfaces of lang package, which where the lang package is a sub package of Java package, right? As I said earlier, this lang package is called as default package. So whether we write this particular statement or not, Java compiler will automatically add this particular statement to the program. So this package will be added to the program directly. So other than this package, if we want to work with applets, we need to import a package called as applet package. So import space java dot applet dot star. So which means we are going to import all the classes and interfaces inside applet package, which is a part of Java package, right? So it is very similar to hash include stdio.h. In C and C++, we make use of hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, and if we want to work with mathematical functions in C, we use hash include math.h. But here in Java programming language, the math related functions are included in a class called as math class, and that math class is located in a package called as lang package. So this lang package, we have to import it in the program, but by default it will be imported automatically. That's why we have never used this lang package in the program. So even now also, if you write or if you don't write this lang package, it will be automatically added to our program, right? Now, let us start working with the methods of the math class, right? Here we have defined two variables, int a equal to -10 and int b equal to 20, right? Now, let us keep the things, let us keep the PPT, and at the same time, let us keep the programming window side by side, right? Programming window side by side. So see the first one, math.abs. So it is used to find the absolute value of the given number, right? Now, what I am going to do is I am going to print something on the output screen by using system.out.println of what I want to print is I want to print the absolute value math.abs of the value a. So I want to find the absolute value of A, right? So this ABS is a method which was located in a class called as math class. That's why I have to use this as math.abs. So now this math.abs of A will be printed on the output screen because we have included system.out.println here, right? Now save the code. Here our class name is capital M, so save the code with the m.java, right? After saving the code, compile the code. One second. Compile the code by pressing on control 1. Just a moment. Yeah, there are no errors in the program. Now just run the code here. If you run the code, the output of this particular program is 10. Actually, a value is negative 10. You can observe here, a value is negative 10. But when we pass this a value to the math.abs, that negative 10 is converted into normal 10. We know absolute value. Absolute value means signature is not included. Whether it is a plus or minus, it is not included. The magnitude remains constant. For example, here in minus 10, this minus is called as signature, right? And 10 is called as magnitude. So in case of finding an absolute value, it will return the magnitude. It will never consider the signature of the value, right? So this is the use of absolute function, that is ABS. Now I think it is clear for everyone. Now let us have a look at the next one. The next method The next method in math class is CEIL, CEIL. So what it will do is it will rounds up in the sense, for example, if we have passed a value 10.20, rounds up means it will round up the value to 11, right? So the name of the method which do this process is called as CEIL, and the CEIL method was located in a class called as math class. So that's why we have to mention math.CEIL. So let us define one more variable here. I want to define a variable float c equal to 10.25. Float c equal to 10.25. Now what I want to do is I want to uh, print the CEIL value of this particular math.CEIL, and I want to find the roundup value of C. So I have used here system.out.println math.CEIL of C. So the value of C is 10.25, right? So what this CEIL will do, the CEIL will rounds up. So now let us have a look at the output of this particular code. First save the code and then compile the code. One second. Right, define it as double, right? I will explain the difference later. Save the code and then compile the code. Just a second, we got some error. I'm sorry. We have to use it as CEIL. We have to use CEIL, seal, right? Save the code now. Save the code and compile the code. So there are no errors right now, and run the code. Right? If you run the code, we have printed two statements. We have printed two statements. One is for system.out.println of abs of a, and this is the output of this first statement, and this is the output of second statement. In the second statement, we are trying to find the math.seal value of c. Seal value of c means the value of 10.25 will be rounded up. So if the 10 point something is rounded up, then the output will be 11. So that is the meaning of seal. Right now, I think it is clear for everyone. Now let us move to the next method in math class. Let us move to the next method, math.floor. So at present, we have used the method seal, which has rounded up the given value. And now we are going to see a method called as floor. What this floor will do is it will rounds down the value. Rounds down in the sense, let us use the same statement. Let us copy the same statement and just change the method name. In place of seal, let us use floor. Now the output of this program will be 10 for this first system.out.println statement, 11 for this second system.out.println statement, and again 10 for the third system.out.println statement, right? So what this floor will do is it will rounds down the value. Right now, I think let us check the mm, output of this program first, and then uh, we can explain, or we can see the next method. Right, if you observe the output of this code, right? So for the same value of c, when we use seal method, it has given 11. When we use floor method, it has given 10. Right? So seal will rounds up the value, floor will rounds down the value. Now let us have a look at the next one, math.log10. So it is used to find the logarithmic value of base 10. It is used to find the logarithmic value of base 10, right? So now let us use this one. Let us use log 10, right? Log 10 of I want to use on the value b. So the value of b is 20. Now logarithmic log of 20 will be found out, and it was printed on the output screen. Save the code, compile the code, and run the code. Now we can find here the logarithmic value of 20 is 1.3010 something here, right? So this is how we can find the logarithmic value of the given number. And next one, math.max. Till now we have passed only one parameter, but for finding the maximum value, in order to find the maximum value, we need to have at least two values. So we have to pass the two values here. So this max method is used to find the big value among these two values, right? So for example, if I have passed this math.max, right, math.max of, for example, math.max of a comma b, that means the maximum value among a and b will be printed over the output screen. If you observe a and b, a is -10, b is +20. So the big value here is 20. So for this particular statement, we will get the output as 20. So let us save the changes what we have made so far, compiling and running. Now you can see here, now you can see here, uh, the output of the last system.out.println math of max a comma b is 20. Similarly, uh, if we want to find the minimum value among the two values, just replace the write the same statement, replace max, that is maximum, with minimum. Now replace the maximum with minimum. Now the output of the last statement will be minus 10 because the minimum value in A and B is minus 10. Saving the code, compiling the code, running the code. So you can find here, right? Minus 10 is the output of the last statement, right? I am updating each and every time. Each and every time I am going to use a new method in the math class. Let us have a look at the next one. Math.power, that is POW of base comma exponent. So for example, if we want to find square root of 2, sorry, not square root, power of 2, for example, let us see here, I will write down system.out.println. I am copying the same thing. I'm going to paste the same thing, but here in place of minimum, I'm going to use power. For example, I want to find the value of 4 square, right? I want to find the value of 4 square. Then I can give math.pow of 4 comma 2, which means we are trying to find the value of 4 square here. Just compile the code and now run the code. If you observe, the value of 4 square will be 16, right? So let us do some changes here. Let us find the value of 2 square. 2 square means we have to get 4 as an output for this code. 2 square means 4, right? You can observe here 4.0 is the output of this particular last statement in the program, because power of 2 comma 2 will return 4 as an value, right? Next one, random. So what this random method will do is random double between 0 and 1. What this random method will do is random double between 0 and 1. What this random method is used in the sense, it is used to return a pseudo random double type number which is greater than or equal to 0.0 and less than 1.0. So the default random numbers always generated in between 0 and 1. If you want to specify the range of values, you have to multiply the return value with the magnitude of the range. For example, if you want to get a random number between 0 to 20, the resultant address has to be multiplied by 20 to get the desired result. Okay. Now let us see how this random method can be included in a method. For example, here what I want to do is I want to define a variable double. For example, double d equal to, right, double d equal to math dot random, right, double d equal to math dot random. After that, I want to print the value of d here. Copying this one, pasting this one. I want to print the value of d here. Let us see what will be printed over the output screen. It will print some random value in between 0.0 to 1.0. Compile the code. Now run the code. If you observe, it has printed 0.5584131185 something. So it is a number which is in between 0.0 to 1.0. So if you want to get some random number in between 0 and 1, we can use this random method, right? And if you run it again, the random value may change. Now we got 0.322382 something. If you run it again, you may get a different value. So now you got 0.1288404. So this is how we will get some random number. Again, we got 31372084, right? So we don't change any value. Still we got some random value, right, in between 0 and 1. So that is the use of this random method. Now the next one, square root, SQRT. So if you want to find the square root of a given number, we can make use of this SQRT. We can make use of this SQRT function. For example, I want to find the square root of 20. So the 20 is stored in B. Now simply by using the method called as math.sqrt, we can find the square root of the given number. For example, here I want to find the square root. So I have changed this one to math.sqrt. Now here I will give the value of B. So the square root of B will be found out and it will be printed over the output screen. Let us save the code and then compile the code. Now run the code. If you observe, the square root of 20 is 4.4 something, right? So if you observe the random value, now we got some 0.503 something, right? This is the use of SQRT function. If we want to find the square root of a given number, we go for math.sqrt in Java programming language. And now let us have a look at the next methods which are in the math class. The next method name is math.sin. So we know sine, cosine and tangent values. So if you want to find the sine value or cosine value or tan value of a given number, we can find them by using math.sin, math.cos, math.tan. So in order to find the sine value, we use math.sin. In order to find the cosine value, we use math.cosine. And in order to find the tan value, we use math.tan. Right? Now let us have a look at let us have a look in the program how this math.sin, cosine and tan will work in the program. Moving to the programming window, right? Now I want to find right. First I want to find the sine 90. That means we have to use here sine. Next one, I want to find the cos 90, and then I want to find the tan 90. Now this sine will return the sine value of sine 90, COS will return the cos 90, and TAN will return the tan 90 value, and it will be printed over the output screen. So let us save the code. First save the code, and now compile the code by using Ctrl+1 and run the code by using Ctrl+2. Now you can have the following values. We got something called as 0.89399 for sine 90, and for cosine 90 we got minus 0.4480 something, and for tan 90 we got minus 1.95200 something. So here, and let us move to the next. Let us move to the next method here. We have here one more method called as 2 degrees, 2 radians. So there is some conversion. We can convert the degrees into radians, or we can convert the radians into degrees, right? So let us first use the 2 degrees and then use the 2 radians method, right? So let us again paste the two things here. First one, degrees, right? I want to find the degrees of value B, and the same thing I want to find the radians of val B. So let us find the we have to use 2 degrees and 2 radians. Let's check the spelling. And along with that, it have to maintain, it is Java is a case sensitive language. We have to maintain capital letters in place of capital and small letters in place of small. Right now save the code and let us observe the output of this code. There are no errors right now. And now running the code. If you run the code, you got something called as 1145 for 1145.915 something for the value of B is 20, right? The value of B is 20. So if you convert the 20 to degrees, so it is the value will be 1145.9155 something. And if you convert the 20 into radians, the value will be 0.349065 something.